Are you, like me, finding that real life keeps getting in the way of you painting up your old world army? And like me, are you desperate to just go and play a game? Well, watch on, because salvation is at hand. I have been delving back through my archive and I found something very interesting. So if you come with me through the mists of time, about 20 years, back to this edition of White Dwarf, edition number 285 from September in about 2002, I think. Got an interesting little article called Warhammer Border Patrol. Now, in this article, the author tells us that the people in the studio were trying to come up with a way that they could play games of Warhammer Fantasy in their lunch hour. Or, just quickly after work, something like that. And what they came up with was a really cool little sort of subset of rules for Warhammer Fantasy, where you take a tiny army of 500 points and you have a couple of extra little rules to make sure these little forces are sort of fair, that they've got an equal chance of winning, and you play a specific scenario that lends itself to these sorts of armies, and then you go and you have a game. And it actually looks really quite fun, and it's a way that you can get your new army for the old world, paint up 500 points, which is I think achievable for most people, and then you can get playing and while you go and paint up the rest of your army. I know what I'm planning on doing is having little blocks of 500 points. So for example, I'll paint up the first 500, and then when I've done that I can start playing, and then I'll look at maybe doing another couple of units that I can swap in and out of that 500, and before I know it I'll have 1,000 points is the plan. And then you're finding yourself playing actual bigger games. So it just seems like a really fun way to get yourself playing as soon as possible without having to put that much time in. And the other good thing about this is that they say that the game should take between half an hour and 45 minutes. So if time is precious, and Lord knows I know this because I've got a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old, so time is very precious, then this looks like a really good way to get yourself playing. Now, what I'll do is I'll run through roughly what it is. On the screen, you should be seeing PDFs of the article that I'm talking about, so you can actually have a look through, and I'll set up a document that's got all the little sub rules on this, and I'll stick that up on the Old World Facebook groups, so hopefully you can find it on there if you're interested in playing this. So the first thing to say is that the way they've done it is that instead of just having a kill points game or capturing banners or anything like that, you've got how did they put it? Yeah, seeking to capture a key position, an item or a building, and that means that you're kind of forced to go forward. You can't just sit back, and it's good. It gives you a dynamic game. So the rules, as I've said already, the army has to be 500 points. Can't go over that. And you must have one hero to lead it, and they can't be an army battle standard bearer, which I think is good. You have to have at least 2 units, and you can't have any more than 4, but that excludes the hero, so 5 including the hero. And you've got to have 1 core choice. Within those 4 units, you've got to have 1 core choice. Now, you can take 1 choice of a special or a rare choice. Can't have both, so special or rare. 1 of your units has to be an infantry unit of at least 10 models. You can't have a unit bigger than 25 models, so no crazy hordes or anything like that. You can't have any magical standards, and you cannot have a single model that costs more than 125 points, so no super powerful, overpowered killy characters. And your army may not have any more than 1 chariot or war machine. That also applies to chariot choices that allow you more than 1 item per pick, like goblin wolf chariots, for example. And I think what this means is that you're going to have a really cool little army. It's not going to be mad powerful, 1 character just rinses the rest of your opponent's force. You have to have it themed around a literal border patrol. What would be on a border patrol? You're going to have a unit of your basic guys, a couple of units of basic guys, a mid-level hero to lead them, and maybe some powerful unit in support, but not loads. You know, we're not talking like a big battle here. The theme of this is a small force sent out just to march up and down the border, ensuring there's no trouble. And I think it's really cool. So that's the kind of rough idea. And what they say is that the gaming space for this should be 3 foot by 4 foot. You don't want to have a 6 by 4 and just have 2 units of infantry just trying to flank one another the whole time. So 3 by 4, so you've got the narrow gap to flank around. You've got the objective in the middle that you're trying to capture. So it forces you to go towards the enemy and actually have a game. Obviously, the points are not the same as they are in the old world. This is from 20 odd years ago in old Warhammer Fantasy, 6th edition. But actually, I think the points values are close enough to what they were then that it's not really an issue. I've been putting together 500 point lists for this and it's been fine. I've not had any problems. We've got a couple of cool scenarios here, which again, I'll put the PDF up so you can see them. Capture and flanking maneuvers. Basically, capture is exactly what it sounds like. Flanking maneuvers, you have a flanking force and they might turn up at any point from the 3rd turn, and that's just victory points actually. So that's kind of an interesting one. We'll see how that one goes if and when we play it. There's another little interesting thing where if you've got a 500 point force, you've got a few friends that have a 500 point force, you can come together, have a bigger game, and it's team play. So they base this on what you would have in a Warhammer doubles tournament. There's a little table down here which tells you which armies can ally with one another. If those 2 armies are distrustful, then they'll have a -1 modifier to leadership for units within a certain range of your allied units to represent the fact that they don't actually like one another, but they're there to fight. So it's quite cool. So what does this mean? Well, I'm certainly looking to bring battle reports to this channel, and painting up 1,500 points at least of Tomb Kings and Bretonnians has been a slow process. As I said, I've got 2 very little kids and that takes up most of, if not all of, my time. I'm also a commission painter, so when I do get painting time, I've got to get those done because people are paying me to do those. What little time I get left is going on my Tomb Kings so far. And Robin is also painting up some stuff. And therefore the idea is, as soon as we can, we're going to start having some border patrol games so that you should be able to see what they look like, see how they play, work out if it's for you. And we'll keep doing that until we've actually managed to scale up armies to the point we can have proper battles and then bring you those battle reports. But what I like about this is that it allows you to, as I say, play quickly, can go get new armies for the channel. If I find something on eBay, which is a couple of units for Dark Elves or Skaven or other legacy factions, can hopefully buy them, get those on the channel as well. Just gives us a bit more option, a bit more variety, because the time investment is so low for this. I figured that, you know, I know there's a lot of you out there who also struggle with time to play and to paint. This will help you as well. So look, well, that's it. I'm going to leave it there. I think it's a really cool little thing. Hopefully you do as well. And, you know, tell me down below. What do you think? What are you going to do for your border patrol? Should be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. I'll catch you next time. Cheers, guys.